Howdy, welcome back to my channel. It has been a crazy week. It has been a crazy year and a crazy 4 years. I am so grateful to be here in front of you today to share with you my everyday makeup bag. I love this thing. It is from the Daily Edited. This is not a sponsored post. This is something that I was inspired to buy when I watched Jamie Peche here on YouTube. She had bought this, I think. I even got mine monogrammed because I'm bougie like that. Saffiano leather outside. It has, you know, pockets and doodads, and it has a gold tone zipper and all that good stuff. But it does have a cloth lining that is pretty easy to clean. That's the lower compartment, which I put everything in, and then the top compartment, I really wish that it had a mirror instead of this clippy thing here. I think it was meant for earrings, but I just don't use it. It's like that real estate that could have been perfect for a mirror. And then this part actually has double zippers, just like double rainbow, and they're actually different compartments, so I'm not feeling like my thumb here, and I'm not feeling my finger here. It's really nice. You actually get a lot of space up top as with below. I'll show you what fits in here. I'll roll that B-roll. You'll get to see that basically it seems like a lot of makeup, at least to me, for an everyday makeup kit. But this is my like everyday, meaning I want to look really good in person. I want to look natural. I want to feel good. You can tell that I'm wearing makeup, mostly on my eyes, a little on my cheeks. It's a very professional finish, daytime friendly look, and it won't go wrong. It's not too cool or warm toned. So if you want to see me do this daily ritual, get a little chatty, do the kit ready with me, please keep watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's the biggest compliment you can give me today. Other than subscribing, of course, I am all about slowing down, gazing inwards, appreciating what we have on this channel, and just taking a look at our daily behaviors and patterns and rituals. So without further ado, let us dive in. To start with my base products, I always do. I do love using a primer. I never did before I found this primer, and this is from Alchemist. Talked about it on a lot of my videos. She is an anti-pollution primer. It kind of has that silicone-y look, but it's not silicone at all. It's all natural ingredients, non-toxic ingredients. It's in the clean beauty section because you can find it on credo.com. I know you can find it on ulta.com, but I like to concentrate it over where I think my pores are the largest. I suffer from acne and hormonal acne and teenage acne and all of the wonderful types that like to come up even way past puberty. So I actually have a lot of, let me show you. Let me see if we can zoom in like a total creeper. It just, God, this always freaks me out. Yeah, I have a lot of, I don't know if you'll believe me, but a lot of these pockmarks on my forehead are from when I was 2 years old. I got chickenpox, and it was one of the worst chickenpox like breakouts, and it really scarred me literally, I guess, for life now. They look like acne scars and little craters and divots. They're actually from chickenpox, and then of course on my nose itself and around here I have a lot of acne scarring. So I think my face is quite textured. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna like zoom out just a little so you can see the rest of my face, but I don't think the primer is gonna completely fill in everything, but it does dry down very quickly. It smells like a spa. It feels herbaceous and fresh and cooling. There's no cooling ingredients in it, but it just feels like a little touch of freshness. It is meant to blur a little bit, so I feel good when I, you know, can put something on my skin. It does a little bit of legwork that isn't necessarily skincare. Next I go in with my SPF. This is from Clinique. It is a mineral sunscreen. It does give me a white cast, so it's not one that I would recommend necessarily. I love shaking it for the ASMR, you know, it just is so satisfying. And the nozzle is really great because it just squirts out just the right amount that I would want. Just a little bit. I put it all over the face. I used to put on debronzy drops by Drunk Elephant to kind of counteract all of the white casts that I do get, but right now in my everyday makeup kit, I don't feel the need to do that just because we're going into winter. I don't need that beautiful bronzing, but I will go in with the Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow, and taking quite a bit actually. That's almost one full pump, and just adding that to the primer layer, to the SPF layer. And it is heavily fragranced, so once this bottle is over, I admit I bought it because it was by Chanel. I bought it because it was a beautiful object and I was really lusting over it. And I spent my hard-earned money during my low buy to purchase it. But I have been using it every day and I don't want the fragrance to irritate my skin. That's why I put it on over the primer. But also that is giving me just a nice little hint of glow. Sometimes when you put a highlighter on with your fingers and you look at your fingers and your fingers are the Tin Man, I'm really not getting that. There's just a little hint of pearlescence. I have natural light streaming in from here, so maybe you'll see that coolness coming in, and then I have incandescent warm LEDs from the top. When I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the viewfinder, but yeah, you can see that it kind of helps my skin get that dewy, non-dewy look. It's not sweaty. It's not like there's serum on my face. I don't want to look like I'm sweating, but I want to have a little bit of sheen. I never understood the term, I guess it's a marketing term, lit from within glow, especially when I was much younger and I just didn't understand makeup or why you would need to A, contour your face, let alone put shimmer and highlight your face. And then they would just say, oh, it's just a subtle lit from within glow. And I'd be like, why do you want to look like you're lit from within? What does that even look like? It's so shimmery, like won't people notice? Look how far we've come. And I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Duo in medium brown and my Benefit Spoolie angled brush here, and going in just on the bottoms first. That's when the pigment is the heaviest. I do dip between the darker and the lighter shade, just kind of to mix a medium shade. And I just run it below the brow. I find that that helps define the shape. It looks a little crazy right now, but then I don't dip in again. And I follow the hair directions. I know a lot of YouTubers now don't show them doing their brows, and I'm always like, but that's the part that I want to know about. My cat is chattering over here. Don't know if you can see him. Hi, you can? Yeah. All these birdie birds are outside on our suet feeder. I like this brush because it's literally the length or the exact size that I want for the front of my brows to be. So I use it on its widest, flattest, and I can just kind of ombre it through and then always direct it when I want more precision. It's really nice, and it's very firm. It's lasted me a long, long time. Whew, it's a Wednesday, y'all. I'm filming right before I have to put this video up because my power went out, and there you have it. That's the brows, and I wasn't able to film yesterday, so I just wanted to sit down and get this up for you all and share this morning. I do put in some brow gel. This is the larger size of the, also in medium brown, Anastasia Brow Wiz. I used to love the Glossier Boy Brow in black, but it's a much more natural color for me, so maybe I just was using the wrong shade of Boy Brow. I think back to even college days when I was wearing still too much makeup, like I was putting, I think it was Bare Minerals all over my face, right? The kit that you got with the original powder foundation, a full face of powder foundation, then a little bit of warming, which I didn't really know how to use. It's so weird because, you know, now I feel like I can't live without bronzer, but back then I just didn't understand it, and I would try to contour with bronzer and try to, you know, do silly things. It was silly, silly things because back then I probably had the best skin of my life, you know? I think I used a brow pencil by Revlon and then one eyeshadow palette, one cheek product, and that was it. Maybe a lipstick, maybe not. It was really, really simple. And now I'm looking at my stash and it's completely flipped. So I do like to set my brows first. I feel like I could go out the door right away if I had to. What has completely revolutionized my way of thinking was using Glossier. This is not a Glossier pot. This is by RMS in the shade 22, their UnCoverup. I do link everything I use down below, but I did switch to Glossier. I think it was maybe 4 years ago. I was 28. Trailblazer, huh? But I finally gave in. I think I was trying not to give in to the Glossier wave. And finally, you know, some of my friends that I had just met in grad school, they were so cool, art school kids. And even they were using it. And I was like, okay, I surrender. I surrender. I'm going to get this milky jelly cleanser thing. And then I am going to buy this concealer pot, this brow thing that everybody can't stop talking about, and then a gloss, a lip gloss. I think I tried their blush later, but those were the foundational things, and it changed my life. I was going through a period of meditating through mundane tasks like brushing your teeth or washing my face. That was mine that I chose. Washing my face with the Milky Jelly Cleanser, always in the morning and at night. And wow, that's really, I wasn't even talking through what I was doing, but literally the smallest amount to hide that connection. I don't actually go in too far over. It looks like I definitely have a little spot here and a little spot on my chin that won't go away. Sorry, I'm using the monitor to check my makeup. I find that this product really helps when it's warmed up on my skin. So I like to dab it on the parts that I want to go on first. Usually it's the same parts because I find sometimes I forget where I dabbed because it is so similar to skin tone. But for the most part, I can track it. Yeah, so I'm just kind of using my finger to dab and then spread a little bit out from where I placed it, especially here where I have a lot of facial craters. If you want to see it, there they are. Lots of texture on my face, lots of blemish marks, but again, I'm just gonna let them live. I'm gonna let them live. And that's revolutionary, even for me. I'm going in with the Fresh Sugar Coconut Lip Balm. Love this stuff, but I don't know if I would buy it again. I find that I like lip balms out of a tin or out of this kind of packaging. So before I get back to my story about the meditation with my face wash, I wanted to show you what Peau de Peche by Westman Atelier looks like on the skin without any other makeup, because this is such a strange product. When you go onto, let's say, Violet Grey, or you go onto their website and you say, hey, what does this do? Tell me about this product. And you read the description, it's like, this is a super loaded highlight. It's a super loaded pigment, which I'm like, I don't know what that means. In the pan right now, it looks like this weird gray, pink, mauvey tone, and then it's described as a peach. It looks really dark for a highlight as well. I was always curious about this, and then I bought highlighters. They're powder highlights. This is Dose of Colors Bathe, and it had that weird pinky mauvey silver sheen, and I was like, there's something here. And then with Raw Honey from Melt, a different ball game, but I was looking mostly at this honey shade here. And yes, it's a lot more peach, but it also had that silver reflect, a lot of pigment to it for a highlighter. This one is just stunning. It is the brightest, shiniest highlight ever. And yet somehow you can sheer it out and it'll look normal. Raw Honey here, if I take a little bit of that, they're both extremely soft. I think Raw Honey is even softer and more powdery. So that's very subtle compared to that Bathe. That is the blinding highlight of choice for me. So then I bought this, and it's a creamy product. It's not too jelly-like. You can't like bounce it like the MAC Glow Play blushes. I like to tap, and you get on the website, it's like, this is a contour and a highlight and a blush all together. Woo! And I'm like, I don't understand, so I just had to buy it. But here you see it as like a highlight. It really can just kind of pick up a little bit of the light. It's not too frosty. It doesn't give too much of a pink sheen, but then when you see it in shadow, you really see where that base pigment is coming from. So a little goes a very, very long way. Keep blending this out. It's on my cheekbone. It's going a little bit below my cheekbone. This is where I would put both highlighter and blush, and voila, it's very subtle. You can't really detect, but I think it did help a little bit with the shadow here, and it did give me a little pinkness. I find that building cheek products is one of my favorite ways to put makeup on these days. So let me demonstrate. I have a few cheek products. I have quite a few actually. So I'm gonna go in with the Filmstar Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Makeup Forever Straight and Wavy 122 dual-headed brush. And I'm going into the sculpt, starting at my hairline and then kind of caressing under where I put the Peau de Peche. And same with over here. It does create this wonderful contour bronzer moment. Oh gosh, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. I feel like it can straddle that beautifully. It looks like a contour, it looks like a bronzer, and it just gives my skin a beautiful warmth and a lot of definition. So this stuff I can't get away from. And I noticed that the pan actually isn't split exactly in the middle. You actually get more sculpt than you get highlight, but I am using the highlight shade with the same brush. I'm just going over exactly where I put the highlight. The kind of makeup that might not look great on camera. There's a lot of translation going on, flattening and lighting that affects, you know, how you're seeing my skin. But I assure you, in person, I think this is one of the most natural looking bases that I can achieve. I do go in with even more cheek products. We have Private Island by Fenty, very warm toned, and it has a little bit of yellow. So I do use this almost like a blush, blush bronzer. I use it a little higher. Guess I've never really talked through this process for myself either. And I used to watch, you know, Elena Davidson when she was, you know, in a really heavy bronzer phase. I don't know if she still is. I'll have to get back to watching her. She would layer like 3 bronzers and I'd be like, why? They all look the same. And then she'd be done with her cheeks and they looked perfectly sculpted. And I just it was so hard to parse and understand. So hopefully I can give you just a little bit of context. So I'm swatching the Charlotte Tilbury and I'm swatching this Fenty. And let me just show you what these look like in comparison to each other. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. It is definitely more red toned. It has a little bit of shimmer running through. Not shimmer, but like a satiny sheen. It's like very sheer. And then this Fenty one, it looks like an entirely different color altogether, right? Like that looks like my skin when it's tan. I don't want to see like a stripe across my face, and seeing how the morning light is hitting on me, you can barely tell that there's really too much, but then in the shadow here, you can tell where I really placed it. Still not done with the cheeks. We're gonna go in with another shade actually that Alana Davidson did inspire me to buy, and it's Lustre by Nars. It's very apricot-y. It looks a little bit like Orgasm, except that it doesn't have that crazy shimmeriness. It does have a lot of shimmer to it, but let me just show you what it looks like on the cheeks. And this I am concentrating kind of around the outside of my eye. I find that that really helps my face shape. And then it's kind of a diagonal from there, like it's going kind of from my temple towards my mouth. And I don't want to put too much on the apples of my cheeks because then I look way too youthful and I look like I'm 12. And so everything is kind of helping this part of my cheek recede. It's kind of giving it a little bit of life and a little bit of definition. And then the highlight is buried a little bit. I know that this has a lot of highlight too, but oh, I just love it. It's the perfect balance between peachy and pink for my skin tones. Before I get too much further down and I don't tell you about my meditation story, because it really is actually quite important to me, I'm using the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre for my eyes as a primer, because I have hooded eyes and they're very, very oily. So no matter what eye look I'm doing, I think it's always a good idea to have some kind of base. I was meditating and I was taught this, you know, through a professor at grad school. It's art school, so we had a lot of conceptual knowledge building. Anyway, there was critical framework. We were talking about what it meant to draw, all this good hokey stuff that I actually really appreciate, and it helped build my personal philosophies around things, and slow gaze is part of that. I'd love to tell you a story about a labyrinth sometime. Anyway, I was assigned essentially to meditate, choosing one thing, like washing your face, and then you take that time to really focus on exactly what you're doing, sense the sensations, the smells, kind of check in with yourself, but turn your attention not from what is in your mind and thinking about work and thinking about what you have to do, and turn your attention towards that action every day, and then you had to journal it. And at first it felt really silly because if you chose something like washing your face, you would write down things like, I liked the smell of that, I'm washing my face now. You know, it was very strange to put so much precedence into a simple act and then an act every day that you think would be similar. You know, the more you dive into it, the more you understand that turning your attention to something like that frees up other parts of your brain. It frees up a lot of tension. You start to let other things flow. So it was revolutionary, and I paid a lot more attention to my skin. I paid a lot more attention to the contours of my face and how lucky I was to have 2 eyes and a mouth and a nose, and just it brought it all back to a center, and I felt so revived. I was able to stop wearing foundation altogether. I was able to just wear minimal amounts of makeup into the world. I didn't even fill in my brows. And I was like a newborn baby. Totally like something had happened to me. You know, it was like a head check. Okay, I'm bringing out the big guns now. This is a very new purchase for me. So even though it's my everyday makeup bag, I'm just saying that like I use this type of tone all the time. I used to use the Charlotte Tilbury quads. Again, you can use any type of medium tone browns. I love this quad so far because this is almost like a highlight shade, but with just a little bit more oomph. And then this is a really special shade because it's not a glittery topper. It has a sheen it satins out, it makes your skin look like velvet. Use my finger and create an ombre effect because that's very good for my eye shapes. It's effortless. Love it. Go in with this on point, down to earth, very dark, very creamy brown eyeliner. And I just like to go kind of looking down into my mirror and focusing it right halfway across my lid. And then after that, I like to take the wing out and let her play a little. I actually have to clear quite a bit of space. Like it looks like a long line, but when I look at you straight ahead, it just kind of pops out. But when I'm drawing it, it always feels a lot more dramatic. I'm using a smudger brush just to diffuse the wing. So then I'm gonna go in with this shade here and pick up just a little bit. This formulation is so powdery, it's really pretty. And look how well that complemented it. It's not too deep, it's not too warm, it's not too red. Yeah, this for the inner corner, it is so subtle, but it has enough pigment that I'm not putting like loads onto my face. I don't know if you can even detect it. Just a hint, I don't know, maybe you can't, but it's the perfect shade for under the brow, just to bring a little bit more shine and life to this part of my face. I'm having a lot of it right here, but bringing it back here really kind of connects that area and it doesn't completely mattify this part of my eyes. And then I'm going in with this shade here, the one that I was saying looks like a gold velvet. And again, it just adds a little bit of sheen to the matteness. Blends in with the champagne, it gives a little bit of pop, but it's so subtle. This is the Shiseido eyelash curler. My lashes are so baby. You can barely even see them, even if I curl them. Going with my Atelier mascara, and that's where the magic really happens. Let's zoom you out and I'll put on some lips and we will say our sayonaras. Go in with this Rouge Cocoa Flash and Chicness. It is the balmy, shiny, glossy texture, and I've gotten through just a little bit here, but it is that nice tawny brown. It's basically a real brown in my opinion. Maybe it's looking a little warm, but it's quite neutral and I love it for my skin tone again because my lips are almost ringed with brown. I don't go in with a lip liner, it's just too much work every day. So that's what it looks like just on the top lip. You can tell my bottom lip is slightly pinker in the center, but I love that this kind of evens out my skin just a little bit more depth. I wear it like a balm, basically. It doesn't have a fragrance, which I appreciate. So I'd love to hear from you below. What is in your makeup bag? Do you have an everyday makeup bag? Is there some kind of ritual that you partake in every day? Was there like a moment that you were like, wow, I have to switch to this and I'm never never going back. I'm never gonna use anything else. If you like this video, I would love if you subscribed, of course. Please join the family. I just hit 1,000 subscribers here, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you who hits that subscribe button, hits the notification bell. So take care of yourself. You can always buy me a coffee as well if you want to support my content in any other way. If you don't know what that means, I've linked it down below. And I upload every Wednesday, so I will see you again. I'm going on a road trip this next week, so we'll see if I can vlog about it, or I might just have some pre-recorded videos that I can still put up on Wednesdays for you. So I'll see you very soon. Adios.
Please handle this side up. You got me upside down. Should only feel this much.